So these are the times where we are being challenged and tested. So yesterday, on yesterday's video, I had stated that being tested by Satan and his minions aren't really like an entity per se. It is in one way, in the metaphysical, because you can't see Satan. You can't really interact with Satan or the devil because it's an ideology. It's a trait. It's a characteristic flaw. Right? It's a what do you call it? It's a job description. And Satan translates and dumbs down to the deceiver or the accuser, the adversary, or the opponent, which means like I could be an angel, but the demons are Satan's. But then if it was the other way around, I am a Satan to them also. So anybody good, there's a John Wilkes Booth coming to get you. And if you try to talk, they'll Anthony Bourdain you, hang you, and use suicide to explain you. That's how they cover shit up. I was just telling my buddy about my friend Steve Jennings from Chihuahua. Rest his soul. God rest his soul. But when he came back from Afghanistan, he wasn't the same. He was a little different. He had seen some shit. It traumatized him, you could tell. And he was dating somebody, and that somebody wasn't very clear with him and what her intentions were, I guess. And he ended up finding out the news, and Steve ended up dying that day. There's no way that I believe that he turned a gun on himself and took his own life, but I highly doubt that. Steve wasn't that kind of a person, no matter how upset he was. I think somebody missed when they did shoot him, because the story is, and what I've understood from it, was when the police showed up to assess the situation, he was already bleeding out on his own floor, twitching. And to my understanding is the officers took him out of his misery, and like misery killed him, put him out, which is highly illegal, and it's murder basically. And so rather than calling an ambulance in that small ass little town, which probably would have taken an hour for it to get there anyways, just because I know how slow they are, order food and call the cops, which will reach you first. The food is that they say they're so busy with other things, but that's not the case. Anyways, so when you encounter Satan is like a job description. Like everybody's out to get you. They want to try to corrupt you. Their main purpose is to keep you from yours. That's what the whole idea of the dark ones are. It's a job description, it's everything that's self-serving. It's a greed, hate, envy, gluttony. It's not helping the less fortunate is a satanic trait. It's a self-serving trait. That's what the devil is. And he doesn't care what you look like, who you are, where you're from. It's like when you give away dignity and respect and decency and humanity, and and you're doing all these self-serving acts and fuck everybody else, you are doing devil's work, because it's a job description, and so many people fall victim to it, don't even know it. Like look at the rich that never help anybody. They are doing works for Satan, because you're supposed to be here helping out your fellow man, and when you don't do that, you are ignorantly working for the devil. Because God says to help one another. Be here. It doesn't matter. You know why Jesus hung out in fucking in bars and lepers and prostitutes? Because those are the people that needed the help the most. You don't need some rich dude on a fucking hill in a mansion. Don't need help. He's got his life figured out. He's happy with all his money. But people like me on the bottom of the ring, we need help. And we are probably more decent of people because we've been through hardship, we've suffered, we've been abused, we've lived through it and healed ourselves, and we've lived to tell about it like I am right now. So, you all can think whatever you want. It's the truth. What I had just said back there was the truth. Satan is a job description, because what I understood growing up was Satan can only infect one person at a time. But that's not the fucking case. Look around. So many people fit the description that I just labeled and named off. All the little sick little traits that people have. They don't give a fuck about you. They're as bad as the government. Like, I'll make more references to this. Like, look at all these nice houses. Yeah, they worked their asses off to get there, but that doesn't mean that you'll fucking be bitter to everybody else. That doesn't mean you put other people down who don't have as much money as you, or they're not doing as well as you. They're like, the people down here, the working class and shit, we mean something. If it wasn't for the working American or the working Mexican or the working black man or whoever the fuck you are, if you are working a job and you're paying taxes and all that shit, you mean something to this economy. That's what I'm saying. We shouldn't have to pay taxes. Taxes was just only brought up during the prohibition to keep people from going into debt and poverty. But they just never took it away. They never abolished it when it should have been. It was to save the country from going into complete fucking failure. You can't run a country bankrupt, but you can. Those people at the top are just greedy little sons of bitches. And they don't give a shit. Look, nice ass fucking vehicles. Yeah. Granted, you can save more money when you got like 5 or 6 people living in the same house and splitting the bills equally in 6 ways instead of 2 ways. Like, I lived with somebody and they didn't make their kids pay rent. And they was working, making the same amount of money as I did, but that fucking kid was spoiled. They didn't make their kid pay towards nothing. Oh, what? A cell phone bill of what? Like fucking 30, 40 bucks a month, and maybe gas in the car or an insurance payment here and there, while I'm fucking busting my ass to fucking pay extra because somebody didn't want to fucking be a parent and teach their kid responsibility on financial maturity and responsibility. Look, I grew up dirt broke. Right, my mama worked 2 full-time jobs and a part-time job, and we were still broke. Alright? It's not because my parents didn't last or make it together. It has nothing to do with that. It's because motherfuckers are greedy and they're money hungry and they don't care about you. People that are only out for themselves, like I said, are working for the devil. They are doing the devil's work. Because for one, they're not helping you. For two, they turn up their noses at you and look down their nose at you. So like what I was gonna say, I was walking out of the welfare building yesterday across the parking lot, and I stopped and talked to the cell phone booth for a minute and bullshitted with him, and we were talking about the same stuff at the phone booth. And he works for the welfare office as the telephone extension of the whole freaking benefits package, right? Well, he was telling me that there's something going on with Trump and wanting the Gaza Strip. We found out that he's wanting to move all the Palestinians out of Gaza and move Americans into Gaza. Why the fuck would you want to do that? So Americans can start getting slaughtered over there, a little by little. We have to think about this. Open our eyes. Critically think. And when people tell you you're looking into shit too deep, tell them to fuck off. Because they don't know the depth of life. They're probably one of those selfish people that don't give a fuck about you or even care what you have to say because you're uneducated. You don't have any money, so you're not important. That's some bullshit. And people that act that way, those are the ones working for the devil. You know, they don't shit and fucking care about you. Why do you even bother? You know? Anyways, that's all I wanted to say. So we'll talk to y'all here in a little bit. Peace.